Welcome back to the channel and a new venue for Oscar's Garage Classic Auction Reviews. We have come north of the M56 parallel to Manor Park Classics, where they've invited us up to their motorcycle auction, and we're also going to cover the car auction. That video will be out soon. And they've got a great selection of bikes, around 90 lots and a big range. Lovely Honda CB750s there, very early Japanese superbikes. Right through VFRs, we've got RDs, you know, all the bikes you love, GSXRs and the NC30 in here as well. And right on the end there is a very, very early Triumph from the new iteration. That is the 59th Triumph Trophy 900 ever built and number 2 ever to be registered on the road. So that surely has got to be a collector's piece for the future. As usual, we'll pick out a few of these bikes to have a closer look at, and then what we'll do is see how they got on when they went to the auctioneer. Now, if I didn't have a domestic ban on buying any more motorbikes, I could be sorely tempted with this one. 1979 Yamaha RD250, and it's like the last of the air calls, just before the hooligan LCs came in. And this one's really nice. It has been restored. Apparently it used to be red, but it's now blue. Come on, you know, how many bikes after 46 years haven't got a bit of history? The paintwork is really nice. It's got original exhaust, no sort of daft expansion chambers or anything on there. I just think it's a really great little thing. It's had the engine work done that, you know, two-strokes are always have an appetite for, you know, the crank, pistons, etc. Showing 19,000 miles. Well, you know, what's not to like? And sensibly reserved, as in my opinion, 2,750 to 3,750. I think that's about on its money, isn't it? Okay, but let's see how we got on.
I'm going to go 2,000 with me, 2,500, 3,000, and 3,000's bid. I'll take 2 next. And 3,200, 3,400 back to me at 3,004. At 3,400 is the bid now at 3,004. Would you like to go 3,600? You do 3,600, 3,800 back to my commission bidder. At 3,800 is my commission bid at the minute, and it's going to sell today at 3,000, 3,800 for the first time, then at 3,008. For the second time then at £3,800, the hammer's up and away it goes. It sells this time with my commission bidder at £3,800. Make no mistake, 3,800. Sold £3,800. Thank you.
We're all entitled to opinion, and mine is one of the prettiest bikes ever sold was the Ducati 916. We're going back late 90s, Pete Carl Fogarty era, and I just, you know, it brought Ducati to a whole new level. And this one isn't a 916. There's a 916 over there, and that's guided at 18 to 20,000 pounds, which makes this 748 by Posto, so you can take a friend, guided at just 4.5 to 5,000 pounds. I think a real bargain. It's got MOT through to July next year. It's done about 8,500 miles. I just think it's such a bargain, and at that estimate, it's surely got to smash it. But as ever, it's up to the bidders to decide what it's worth.
I'm going to start with your bid at 2,000, 2,200, 2,400's bid now at 2,004. At 2,000, 2,400 is bid. At 2,400, 2,600, 2,800 again. At 2,008 is the bid now at 2,008 and 3. My bidder's out now. It's with you online at 3,000. Welcome in Ireland is with you at 3,000, 3,000, 3,000. For a Ducati at just 3,000 in 2 bid at 3,200, 3,200, 3,200. You're thinking about it online. 3,300 bid. Thank you again. At 3,003. Last chance. Finished and done at £3,300. We'll submit the bid to the vendor there at £3,300. Thank you.
Nostalgia is a big seller, and this 1990 AR125 from Kawasaki may well fill that slot in your demands. Now, it's interesting, these have never been as well sort of sought after for restoration as like the Yamaha RD125. And one problem these bikes have had in the last few years is the Far East were really interested in the wheels, because they had a wire-spoked version of this bike, so they were selling out the wheels from the UK for like £400 or £500. So you will see a lot of these around with the missing wheels, but obviously this one is complete because it's got MOT up until August 26. I think it's a good start point for a full resto. Obviously it runs and rides, which is a good start. It's not something that's just been dragged out of a shed, so It's got a bit more potential than that. I imagine things like the little handlebar fairing, this is one of the later models, and I don't think so many of these were sold. That might be a challenge to find, but otherwise, what a great little start point. And the nice thing with this is no reserve, so it's going to sell, and it's up to the bidders to decide how much it's worth.
And you're in at 2. I'm going to go 3. I'll take 4 next. 300's my bid here. At 300 a bid now, 3. At 300, 300 bid. 4, 5, 6. I'm out. You're in, sir. Up top at 6. At 600, 600, 600. Finished and done then. I sell to the gentleman at the top again. It goes once, 50, 650, 75, 675. Online, you're thinking about it. It's up top at £675. Once, twice, finished and done then. We sell this time. It goes up top then. 7. 25. Back in. At 725 then, the bid. Once, twice, finished, done. Selling now, £725. Sold the same way as that same paddle. Yes, thank you.
Now, if you're watching this and you're of my generation, do you remember the point where all the new Triumphs were announced? And from memory, don't recall it really made a big splash at the time. We'd heard so many stories of Triumph's revival. Was this just another one? But history has proved it was going to be something epic. And this is one of the very first. This Triumph Trophy 900 was the 59th bike built and the number 2 registered, so it's a really early model. These early sort of new generation Triumphs were a really robust design. I believe it was claimed that the engine was designed on the back of sort of Kawasaki philosophy. Great modular design at the time. Like the 750 triple became the 1000 with basically an extra barrel and piston, and the same with the 900 triple to the 1200. This one's done 42,000 miles. It's got MOT through to April next year, so it's ready to go. And I think these could only go one way, surely. You know, it's of the new generation Triumph, early bike, you know, there can't be many that have survived in this condition because it's just really nice. And even better, no reserve. So it just goes to the highest bidder. And let's find out who that was.
Hundreds bid. At 100 is bid online. At 100, 100 is the bid. At 100, 102. At 200 now. At 200, 203. At 3 is now bid with you online. At 300, we are bid. At 300, 300, 350. It was in the center of the room first, just before you. At 350. Online, would you like to come back in for 4? At 350, 350. Are we finished and done then online? Would you like to go 4? 400's back in the West Midlands with you now, sir. Would you like 450? 450's bid. Straight back in. Thank you, sir. Pounds for the first time. 500's online. At 500, would you go 50 again? At 500, 550, gentlemen's back in now. At £550, we're bid. We're finished, we're done. Hammers up, away it goes. First lot of the day, selling now in the room at £550, finished and done. Sold with you, sir, 500.
In the spirit of full disclosure, I am going to admit a previous involvement with this bike. I used to work for one of the sponsors on this bike and used to provide the sponsorship and product and so on to this very team, McAdoo Racing, a big force in road racing over in Ireland. And this was in the era when they were teamed up with Ryan Farquhar, and I think this was one of their most successful eras. Ryan used to race an awful lot of the time. He would go to all the smaller road races as well. And, you know, what sort of pedigree do you want? This one won the Northwest 200, I think, in 2003, and in the same year put the fastest lap in its class in the TT. So, you know, you're not going to get much better provenance than that. This one was originally tuned by Tony Scott, and for those of you into bikes, you'll know Tony Scott is one of the big names in engine tuning. This one hasn't been used for a little while, I think about 20 years, so it's probably going to need a little bit of recommissioning, but what a track bike. You know, you're going to turn up, you know, not on an old road bike with race fairings. You've got the real McCoy with this one, and estimate-wise, £3,000 to £3,500, and I think for what you're going to get, that's probably a bargain. But who am I to say? Let's see what the bidders decided it was worth.
Not surprised, I've got a commission bid here and I'm going to start with it at 15, 16, 18, £2,000 we start. At £2,000 the bid. At £2,000 is the bid. 2-2, gentleman's bid just before you, Will. I seen his hand and then I heard the ding. Took your bid there. I'll take 2-3 online if that sharpens your pencils. Want to come in? At 2002 is the gentleman's bid here. Just before you, 2-3, they're back in. At 2003. At 2,000, 2003, I'll take 2,400 if you want to go again. At 2,400, thank you, sir. Nodding away. At 2,400 is the gentleman's bid here at 2,400. At 2,000, 2,400, 2,500. Back in 2,500. At 2,500 online. At 2,500. How about 2,550, sir? Coming back in for a small bite. 2,550 bid. At 2,550 is bid. 2,600 if you want to go again now online. 2,600, they're straight back in. Would you go 50 again? Shakes the head. It's with you at the minute online. Last chance. Fair warning. Hammers up at £2,600. Make no mistake. Finished and done at 2,600. Provisionally online at 2,006, and that's 17936.
I think this 1972 Suzuki GT550 is absolutely glorious. It's been put together apparently with a load of new old stock parts to sort of bring it up to its current condition. It is an import bike. It came into the UK in 2023. Yeah, but what a nice thing. And there's an alternative to maybe to like a CB550 or something like that. What a nice alternative this would be. Estimate wise, it's up for £5,500 to £6,000. And yeah, for what these go for in the condition, it should do that, shouldn't it? Surely? But let's find out.
We're going to start the bidding off at 2,000, 2,200, 2,400. At 2,004 we go. At 2,400, 2,400, 2,400. At 2,400, 2,600, 2,800 back to me. At 2,008. At 2,800 a bid now, 2,008, 3,000. 3,200's bid. At 3,002. At 3,200 a bid now, 3,400. My bidder's out and you're in. At 3,004 is with you. At 3,004, I'm out, you're in online. At 3,400, finishing done then. Online bid with you in Lincolnshire. 3,600, sneaking in. At 3,600, Suffolk bidder, you're back in the lead. At 3,600. Last chance at £3,600. 3,800. It goes on. At 3,008. At 3,000, 3,800, would you like to go for? At 3,000, 3,800 is the bid at the minute. 4 they do. Thank you again online. At 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, both 4,200. 4,200. Suffolk's back in now. At 4,200 a bid. At 4,002. At 4,200, 4,200, 4,200. I'll tell you what, let's go 4,300. Not many lots left. If you need a ride home, now's your chance to bid. At 4,003. Hammers up. At 4,300, 4,400. At 4,004. At 4,400 bid. Finishing done then. Online has it at £4,400. Provisionally with you at 4,004, 11487.
I know this is a bit newer than what we normally look at, but bear with me because this is a bit special. It's pretty much, I think, the star of the show on the bike side for Manor Park at this auction. And this is a 2008 Ducati Desmosedici RR. So this was their road-going version of their MotoGP bike. And of course, we're going back here to the Casey Stoner era. And this one, oh, it's just glorious, isn't it? You know, is it for road-going replicas? The only other ones that have done something is Honda, and they didn't come up with the RCV, what, till 2014, 2015? This one, despite being £40,000 originally back in 2008, has had another £30,000 worth of upgrades on it. It's got ceramic brakes, it's got Dimag wheels, etc, etc. There are only 1,500 of these built originally, so in the UK you don't really see that many. And interestingly, they've gone up in price, not down. This one is estimated at £50,000 to £60,000. Now, if you think that's proper money, if you look, there is one of these coming up for auction, 2019, of the actual race bike. And that is, I think, about £400,000 to £500,000. So you've got the similar thing for a fraction of the price. But of course, let's see how it got on when it went under the hammer.
I'm going to go in at 30, 32, 34, £36,000 we start. At £36,000 is bid. At 36,000 now, I'll take 40 next. At £36,000. At 36 the bid. At 36, 38. 40's back to me. At £40,000 we are bid. At 40,000, 40,000 the bid. At 40,000 now, would anyone else like to come in for 42? Ducati history here, 42 online. 44 back to me. I'm gonna have to go 46 to me. My bidder now at £46,000 is the bid here on the Ducati. Then at £46,000. At £46,000 the bid. Once. at £46,000 twice, and sells this time, make no mistake, at £46,000. It goes then at 46,000, sold at 40.
Right, this bike isn't in the current auction, but it's been pointed out to me this is something absolutely out of this world. It is, as probably most of you guessed, an RD500 LC, absolutely glorious piece of 80s 500cc replica, but this one is all brand new. Absolutely every part has been purchased for this bike, and it is understood that this was a pre-production chassis. It's literally chassis number 18, and you can see the new bits of fairing there. There's a new tank, and I've been shown to the storeroom where the rest of the parts are. It is absolutely out of this world, and this is coming up not in this September auction, but it will be coming up in their next auction, which is, I think, the middle of October. So who out there's first two-wheel experience was on something like this 1989 Honda NC50 Express? You know, the most basic of basic Honda mopeds, really. You know, most of these disappeared as field bikes, didn't they, and ended up rotting away in a hedge where they broke down. Now, this one, it's just got a lovely coating of originality about it. I'll just do an oily rag with this. The patina on it is, I think, lovely. You don't want to restore it, I think, personally. It was actually ridden to the auction. It's over 40 years old, so it's MOT exempt and tax-free. So yeah, what a great little fun thing to turn up at your little sort of local bike meet. You know, stirs some memories up. It would be great, wouldn't it? And the other thing is, no reserve. So let's see what it got to.
At 100, 100 is the bid. 150 back in. At 150, you're in now online. At 150 is bid. At 150, 150. Next bid's 2 if you're coming back in. And 200 bid. Are we done? 250 up top before you online. At 250 is bid. At 250, 250 and 300 now. It goes on back to the internet at 3. At 350 bid. At 350, 350 online bid. 350 and 4. At 400 is bid now. Are we done online? 450. At 450 and 5. At 500 back in now 5. Last chance. Fair warning. Second lot of the day with you online. Sells this time. Make no mistake at £500 once, twice. Finished and done £500. Sold for 500. Online bidder takes it. When it comes to workhorse bikes, the Honda VFR 750 is, you know, one of the more common. There were so many of these made, and it was a really highly developed bike. Prior to this, I think it was the original version was launched back in about 85, 86, and that was after Honda had all the problems with the VF 750, and you know, they really threw the development kitchen sink at this one. Gear-driven cams, so no cam chain issues, etc., etc. This is one of the sort of last versions or iterations of the 750 before they went to 800. This one from 97, it's tidy, and you know, there's not many bikes out there that could do 85,000 miles and look like this, so it has done a fair amount of tarmac under its wheels, shall we say. It was last MOT'd in 2020, and yeah, I think it does start run and ride, it'll go, it's fine, but the problem is there are an awful lot of these bikes in the market, and it's a challenge at the moment. It's guided up at 1250 to 1750. I'd like to think it'll get there. I think, unfortunately, I think it is going to struggle, I'm afraid. But who knows? I could be horribly wrong. Let's see what happened when it went under the hammer. You're in 1,000, 11, 12, 1,300 we start. At 1,300 is the bid. At 1,300, 1,300. At 1,300, I'll take 14 if you want to come in. At 14, bid online. At 1,400 is the bid now at 14. 1,400 once. At 1,400 twice. I'm going to sell. Make no mistake. Finish and done. It sells this time then at £1,400. Sold at 1,400.
Now, this is a rare beast. It is a 1979 Benelli 2C Elettronica. Yeah, I hadn't seen one before either. Obviously, Benelli, we know them for their big multi-cylinder bikes, 4-strokes, but this is 2-stroke, 2-cylinder. It's a bit of an RD competitor from that era. This one doesn't seem to have done very much hard work at all. Looks like it was the original UK bike. It was last taxed back in 1980, so that's only a year in, and it's only showing 3,000 3,500 kilometres. So what's that, 1,800 miles, 1,700? It's been dry stored for a number of years. It's had what you would probably class as period modifications. So it's got the old Pro-Am handlebars on it. It's got some expansion chambers on it, which I don't think are original because it doesn't appear to have any silencers in it. So I imagine it's fairly ear-splitting. It does run apparently, but obviously, you know, it needs probably a bit of recommissioning before you took it out on the road. This one did go for the auction last time. It had an estimate of 2,500 to 3,000. Unfortunately, didn't find a home then. It's back again. This time, estimates dropped 1,750 to 2,250, and yeah, surely it's got to find a home with that kind of money for a couple of grand. You're not going to find another one, and also one that's so low miles and you know never really been mucked with. But let's see how we got on.
£1,000, thank you. 1,002, it goes on again at 1,200's bid online. 14, sir? 14 bid up top at 14's bid. Last chance, fair warning, £1,400. 15, just in time. 15, would you like 16? 50? 1550, I'll take it, thank you, sir. 1,600 online's back in. Shakes the head up top. That's £1,600. You're in line there at 1,600. That's 1,600 in Somerset at £1,600. Would anyone else like 50? 1,650 up top. 1,650's bid. 17, sneaking back in 17. Make no mistake here at £1,700. 50 back in up top. At 1,750 bid. Thank you, sir. Make no mistake, finishing done 1,750. Provisionally, sir, with you up top at 1,750, we will make that call for you.
If you're of my generation, do you remember the moment the Honda RC30, the 750 big brother of this one, was launched? It was, you know, suddenly a real full-on race bike for the road. And, you know, we know they're big money. They're in sort of 20, 30,000 plus. This is the baby brother, 400cc. Was predominantly a Japanese model. I think they did bring some in officially, but there wasn't a massive number. This, like most of them, is an import. But what a beautiful little bike. This one's had replacement fairings, but, you know, really, would you know? I thought the blue was a bit darker on these. It might just be me, but I just think these are such a pretty little bike. Unfortunately, my age with my back and wrists, it's not really for me, but I just think it's beautiful to look at, and I don't agree with putting it on a plinth in your man cave. It needs to get out there on the road. This one has got MOT through to July 2026 and was actually ridden to the auction, so it's a complete up, running and goer. Does show 63,000 kilometres, so what's that, 45-ish thousand miles? So it has done a few, but we know these engines are pretty bulletproof. You know, it's a great little bike, guided at just 3,500. I think, yes, it's got to smash that surely, because you're getting a hell of a lot of bike for not a lot of money there. But of course, let's see how we get on.
14, 16, 1,600's bid. At 1,600 here. At 1,600 with my bidder now at 16. At 16, 18's bid, now 2,000 back in with me. At 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. At 2,000, 2,000, then once. At 2,000, then twice. Finished, done, last chance, fair warning, then at £2,000. Provisionally with my commission bidder 30.
Don't click away, I haven't gone mad. This is not a British bike, it's actually a 1984 Yamaha. I know, it doesn't look like it, does it? But it's a Yamaha XV1000, which has basically been converted into an HRD Vincent lookalike. It's a sort of evocation rather than a, what would you call a replica. But the disc brake's obviously a little bit of a giveaway, but the rest of it, what a glorious thing to turn up to with on a bike night. It would just be great fun, wouldn't it? Bit of history on this one. It was actually a write-off back in 2002. Owner bought it as a box of bits in 07. Sat around for a long time. 2018, started this build. And there's a lot of handmade bits. Looks like some sort of parts from period bikes, but yeah, what a great thing. Estimate-wise, £3,000 to £3,500, and I think for something that looks as stunning as this, that's a bargain. I think it will probably go for more because I think someone like me will fall in love with it. But of course, it's not up to me; it's up to the bidders. So let's see how we got on.
I was going to start with my bid here at just £1,000. I'll take 1-2 next. At £1,000 is bid. At 1,000 bid. At 1,000, 1-2's bid. My bidder's out already. You're in at 1,002. At 1,000, 1,002. I'll take 1,300 if anyone else is interested. At £1,200, I will submit the bid, seated then. At £1,200, make no mistake, are we finished and done here? Last chance in fair warning. At £1,200, submit it your way, 577.
Isn't it great to see a Suzuki GSXR 750 that hasn't been street fighted or modified or whatever's been done to it? To find them in original state like this is quite rare. This was like probably I'd say the second sort of generation. This is a J model, so those original sort of sharp edges of the original slab side have been rounded off. This one is an import, came to the UK in 1999, is currently MOT'd. Its previous MOT was 2011, so it has been off the road for a little while. Mileage-wise, done 25,700 kilometres, so what's that, about 17,000 miles, so nothing really for one of these. Estimate-wise, £7,500 to £8,000. Might have to be a good day, but I think it's, you know, it's in that era. It's interesting that there seems to be more excitement about the early slab side than these second generation models, but where are you going to find another one like this? Anyway, let's see what happened when it went under the hammer.
You're going to go in 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 6, 3, 8. We start with me now at 3,008. At 3,000, 3,800 is bid. At 3,000, 3,008. 4,000's online. At 4,000 a bid now, 4,000 bid. Online bid at 4. At 4,000, 4,2. At 4,2, 4,2, 4,2. At 4,200, would you like to go 4,4? At 4,2, 4,2, 4,4's back in. At 4,004. At 4,400 bid. Bender then at 4,004. Once. At 4,004. Twice. Finished and done then at just £4,400. We'll make that call for you online. We are a little way off there.
Well, that wraps up our visit here to Manor Park Classics, and I really hope you've enjoyed the bikes that we've picked out for you to have a look and how they got on as they went through auction. And as ever, I'm going to ask you that one last favour. If you're still here, you must have enjoyed the content, so give the old subscribe button a bit of a click for us. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.